The king summoned the town crier. By evening, the town crier marched through Umwama, beating his gong. People of Umwama, in 2 days' time, there will be a grand wrestling competition. The strongest man shall win a bag of gold and marry Princess Ola. The kingdom froze. Mama Akuna nearly dropped the plantain she was peeling. The king wants to punish somebody's son, she whispered. But the men did not care. Gold was gold, and becoming the king's son-in-law was no small matter, as long as they were marrying the wife for free. 2 days later, the village square overflowed. Farmers, hunters, palm wine tappers, fishermen, and traders all came to wrestle. Some were strong, some only looked strong. One man fainted before touching anybody. Then, the king and queen arrived. Finally, Princess Ola was rolled into the square on a reinforced stool with wheels. 8 men pushed her, sweating under the sun. When she saw the contestants, she screamed, "Father, these are not princes. They are poor villagers. Why do they look like they want to farm me?" The king did not blink. Since you refused to learn in comfort, you will learn in suffering. The wrestling began. It was chaos. 2 men charged and missed each other. One small man defeated a giant because the giant slipped on his own sweat. A palm wine tapper wrapped himself around his opponent and refused to come down. The crowd laughed until their stomachs hurt. But one man stood out. His name was Obinna. He was a poor hunter with dark skin, a rough beard, broad shoulders, and eyes as sharp as a hawk's. He did not boast, did not shout. He simply waited. When his turn came, he moved with quiet strength, fought like a lion. His punches threw men down like a sack of yam. The crowd roared, "Obinna the hunter! Obinna the hunter!" In the final round, Obinna won. The elders raised his hand. "I am Obinna, son of Nwankwo," he shouted. "I have come for my gold and wife." Princess Ola wailed. This was not what she wanted. But the king nodded. "The victory is yours. The princess is yours." The marriage was done that same evening before Ola could plan an escape. When it ended, Obinna took his bag of gold, held Ola's hand, and said, "Let's go home. Your new life begins now." Ola cried as he led her away. "Please slow down," she begged. "My legs are suffering." Obinna did not turn. "Walk. You are a living thing. Use your legs." He took her past the farms, down a dusty road and into the poorest corner of Umwama. When they stopped before a tiny mud hut with a broken door and leaking roof, Ola screamed, "Obinna, what is this?" "Our home," he said. "This? Even lizards will reject this place. I am a princess." Inside the hut were one pot, one old bowl, 2 spoons, a lantern, a bamboo mat, and a lazy goat that walked around like the owner of the house. Ola stared in horror. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. "Okay, where are the mates?" Obinna laughed until his chest shook. "Mates? In this poverty? The only maid here is you." Ola staggered. "I can't walk like a common villager." "Yes," Obinna said. "You will walk like a villager with 2 hands, 2 legs, and no shame." That night, she lay on the bamboo mat crying. No soft bed, no fan, no perfume, no maids. Then mosquitoes arrived, singing around her ears like a wicked choir. "My morning, Ola was still sleeping. Obinna poured a bucket of water on her. "Hey!" she screamed, jumping up. "Good morning," Obinna said. "Sweep the compound." He handed her a broom. "I'm allergic to stress," she cried. "And I am allergic to laziness," Obinna replied. "If you don't sweep, you won't eat." Hunger soon humbled her. She swept slowly, crying and coughing in the dust. Then Obinna told her to cook. "I have never cooked in my life." "Then learn." What followed was not cooking. It was a village disaster. She added too much salt, too much water, too much oil, and enough smoke to chase ancestors from their graves. When Obinna tasted the food, his face twisted. "This thing is poison." Ola cried. "I told you I cannot cook." The following day, Obinna gave her a clay pot and sent her to fetch water, since there was no longer water in their hut. At the river, she slipped and fell inside with a mighty splash. Women laughed until they almost dropped their pots. On her way back, the pot broke. Obinna gave her another one when she returned. "I hate you," she screamed. "When you finish hating me, carry the pot." Weeks passed, and Obinna had succeeded in making her sweep, wash, cook, bath, fetch water, gather firewood, and follow him to the farm. At first, Ola suffered like someone being punished by 7 ancestors. She cried, fainted, complained, cursed the broom, the pot, the river, the farm, the sun, and Obinna. But Obinna did not pity her. "Work," he always say. "Tears don't remove dirt." One day, after falling into mud on the farm and being chased by a chicken, Ola decided she had suffered enough. When Obinna left the house, she tied her wrapper and ran back to the palace. When she reached the gate, she banged it with both hands. "Open! It's me, your princess," she cried. The guards looked at each other sadly. "Princess, the king ordered us not to open." Ola froze. Inside, Queen Adora heard her daughter crying and rushed to the gate. "My child," she sobbed. But King Amadi held her back. "If we open this gate today, she will return to laziness tomorrow." Outside, Ola cried harder. "Mother, please, Obinna is wicked. I am hungry. I am hurting. I live like a slave." Still, the gate remained shut. Then, the village children gathered. They clapped, danced, and began to sing and mock her. The song pierced Ola's heart as she sat on the ground. Then she saw her reflection in a metal plate one child was holding. Her hair was scattered. Her wrapper was dusty. Her face was swollen from crying. She looked nothing like the proud princess she used to be. For the first time, reality entered her heart. Maybe I am truly lazy as they say," she whispered. Broken and ashamed, she turned away from the palace gate and walked back to Obinna's hut. When she arrived, Obinna sat outside, sharpening his knife. She stood before him quietly. "Obinna, please, can I come in?" Obinna looked at her for a long moment. "You can come in," he said, "but work continues." Ola nodded. "I know." By this time, our dear princess had accepted her fate. That night, she lay on the bamboo mat without complaining. Her whole life passed before her eyes. The pampering, The maids, the laziness, the shame at the gate, the children's song, and Obina's stubborn discipline. A small voice whispered inside her, Ola, it's time to change. By the next morning, Obina expected crying and drama. Instead, he saw Ola awake, wrapper tight, sitting quietly. Obina, what can I do today? Obina blinked. Are you talking to me? Yes, she replied. Teach me. And from that day, Princess Ola began to change. She swept slowly, but she still swept. She cooked badly, but she tried again. She fetched water with a small pot, but she fetched it. She worked on the farm, falling less each day. Obina taught her everything, firm but patient, strict but fair. When she failed, he said again, and when she improved, he cheered her up. Little by little, Ola grew stronger. Her steps became steady, her weight reduced. As her body became lighter, her skin began to glow again. By this time, her beauty was different. It was not the lazy beauty of a pampered princess. It was the beauty of a woman who had found strength. The villagers noticed. Is that not Princess Ola? Women whispered at the stream. See how she carries water now. Hard work has changed her. Even Obina noticed, though he pretended not to. He watched her cook, sweep, laugh, and walk without complaint. Slowly, his hard heart softened towards her. Ola also began to see him differently. He was not cruel. He was the first person who refused to pity her into destruction. Little by little, they fell in love. She cooked for him. He brought her roasted meat and plantain from the market. She teased him about his beard. He brushed dust from her cheek and pretended it meant nothing. Their home was now filled with joy. One afternoon, the king and queen came to visit Obina with guards, drums, and gifts. They had heard the good news. When Queen Adora saw her daughter, slimmer, glowing, calm, and hardworking, she burst into tears. My child, look at you. King Amadi placed a hand on Obina's shoulder. You have done what the palace could not. You gave our daughter back to us. Ola smiled through tears. Obina was proud of his wife. From that day, Obina became respected throughout Umwama, and Ola became a symbol of transformation. One evening, Obina finally opened the bag of gold he had won in the wrestling match. He had never touched it since then. This gold, he told Ola, will build our future. With it, he built a strong and beautiful house beside the old hut that had taught Ola her greatest lessons. Years later, when King Amadi grew old, Obina and Ola were crowned rulers of Umwama, and they ruled with wisdom, humility, love, and strength. So, whenever the elders told Ola's story, they ended with one lesson. Laziness destroys destiny, but hard work restores it, shapes it, and makes it shine. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned one or two lessons from it. I would love you to share your lessons in the comments section. Thank you for watching and see you in our next story. Bye!